pay him back later. OJ said all he had was hundreds at the time, and he didn't want to use 100. At least that was the story he gave later. And at 9:10 p.m., both OJ, and Kaylin go to McDonald's in OJ's Bentley. And they go to McDonald's and they arrive back at the residence at around 9:25. No, I'm sorry. They arrive at McDonald's at about 9:25. Kato pays for the meals. OJ's driving, and they drive back home. OJ's eating while driving home. And Kato decides he would rather wait till he got home before he had his meal. He testified that he had a couple of fries on the way home, though. Now, at 9:33, Ronald Goldman ends his work shift. So he's like waiting around, I think, if I recall correctly, for some other friends to get off or for someone to cash him out or something like that. He hangs around for a few minutes before he leaves. 2 minutes later, 9:35, Kaylin leaves OJ standing near the Bentley. They arrive back to the estate, and Kato gets out of the Bentley. He walks toward the house. He assumes OJ is following him, but he turns around, looks back, and OJ's still standing there at the Bentley. So he figured he was not going to come in, so he decided to go in on his own and go have his dinner. That was at 9:35. At 9:37, Judith Brown, I think that's how you say her name. It's Judith with an A on the end. Judith Brown, who is Nicole's mother. She calls the Mezzaluna restaurant where they had all been having dinner. They had after the recital party at the Mezzaluna. She called up there because she was missing her glasses, and she figured that she probably left them there somewhere. After she called the restaurant, she then called Nicole and told Nicole about the glasses. That was at 9:40. At 9:45, Nicole decides to call the Mezzaluna restaurant to inquire about the glasses, and she spoke to, I assume it's a manager named Karen Lee Crawford. She spoke to her, and she also spoke to Ronald Goldman. And Ronald volunteered to take the glasses over to her house, which was only 6 blocks away from where he lived, so it was not a problem that he could do that. There's also evidence that they had known each other prior to that night. There was later on, it was learned that there was he had like a Rolodex or some kind of electronic device that keeps phone numbers. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is before the cell phones that we have today, but he did have some phone numbers, and her phone number was in there. There's no evidence that they had a romantic relationship or anything like that, anything intimate, but the testimony is that they had known each other, and Faye Resnick said that they known each other, but she would not admit that they were romantically involved at all.
You said they were?
Faye Resnick would not state that Ronald and Nicole were at all romantically involved.
Okay.
So there's no evidence they were. I know there's some speculation and some theories that they were seeing each other like that, but there's no evidence to support that.
Okay.
Okay, so the house guest, Kaylin, he at 2 p.m. I'm sorry, we're past that. I'm just going off some notes here. Okay, at 9:45 to 9:50. A domestic worker who is in the house next door to Simpson's. Here's OJ's dog barking. That's between 9:45 and 9:50. At 10:10, Kaylin is in the guest house, and he calls his friend Rachel Ferrara. And that's going to be significant, particularly to Simpson apologists, because her phone call contradicts the timeline as far as him being able to have the time to make it to Nicole's house to kill her and get back home. Okay, so that's going to be a key. At 9:15, Nicole's neighbor hears a dog barking. I think that's going to be Robert Hystra.
You said at 9:15 or
10:15. Did I say 9:15? I apologize. It's 10:15. The prosecutors, Marsha Clark, she wants to put the murders at about this time at 10:15, which, in my opinion, is way too early. And she's basing it on a dog barking. There's other evidence later that is far more supportive of the murders happening slightly later than simply a dog barking. So, but we'll get to that. At 10:30, another neighbor of Nicole's is taking his dog for a walk. And at, going to backtrack a little bit, at 10:22, the limousine driver named Alan Park, he arrives at the Rockingham estate to pick up OJ and take him to the airport. He's substituting for his boss. It was originally going to be his boss that was going to take the job, but somehow Alan Park got the job. He's a younger guy. He's kind of new. This is his first high-profile client. He didn't have to be there until about 10:45, but he's there at 10:22 because he doesn't want to be late. And you will also notice in the record when there are timestamps surrounding Alan Park, they're usually to the minute. And mostly everyone else timestamps are rounded to the nearest 5. Like in this instance, Alan Park arrives at Rockingham at 10:22. And he knows this because it's his job to keep time. And further substantiating his timestamps will be some phone calls that he will soon make while he's at the estate trying to make contact with OJ so he can take him to the airport. Okay, let's moving on. At 10:40, Alan Park pulls up to the Rockingham gate. He was first at another gate, but he goes up to the Rockingham gate. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I take that back. He was at the Rockingham gate initially. He waits a while till 10:40. Then he goes up and rings the buzzer, and he doesn't get an answer. Also about this time, a witness in Nicole's neighborhood, a neighbor of hers, reports hearing someone say, hey, 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 like, hey, 3 times. And this is Robert Hystra. And I think this is 10:40. I believe this is the time of the murders.
Okay.
Because not only does we have Robert Hystra hearing someone, he heard the hey, 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 then he heard someone say something back with a deeper voice, but he couldn't tell what it was. I think this is the time of the murders. Right about that time, there's other people, well, not that time, but shortly thereafter, Nicole's dog is seen in the neighborhood, and it's found to have some blood on him. Well, I'll get deeper into that after we go through the initial timeline. So between 10:40 and 10:45, Cato Kalin is on the phone with Rachel Ferreira, and sometime in that time frame, he hears 3 thumps on the wall near the air conditioner right outside his bungalow. At 10:43, Alan Park tries to page his boss because he can't get anybody at the inside the house to respond, so he can take Simpson to the airport. So he calls his boss, Dale St. John, at that time. 10:49, he calls St. John again to let him know that no one's answering at the estate. Okay. At 10:55, Alan Park sees Cato Kalin near the house because he's looking to see if he can get let in, and he sees a white male. He describes as white male with blonde hair at the house. And he also sees a tall African-American figure in dark clothes walks up to the house and goes inside. He can't tell if it's a male or female, but he says it's a large African-American person. Goes right in the front door. At 10:56, Kalin lets Park inside the estate. And about the very same time, a neighbor of Nicole's, I think his name is Schwab, he finds Nicole's dog. It's a large Akita dog. At 11 to about 11:02, Simpson comes out of the house to load the limo, and then he joins Kaylin in the brief search for a possible intruder that Kaylin told him about, because he said he heard the thumps and he wanted someone to go back there with him. He had gone back there initially, but he only went so far because he got scared and turned back around. When OJ came out, he asked OJ to join him for back there so they can take a better look. OJ ended up not going all the way back there, telling him, I need to go. We got to go. So Kaylin went back there a little bit further, but not all the way back there to investigate, because he got scared again and turned back around. At 11:10 to 11:15, Alan Park, the limousine driver, and Simpson leave for the airport. At 11:40, another neighbor of Nicole's named Sukru Vastepi is approached by Schwab, who asks him to take Nicole's dog, and he agrees. And this is so Schwab can go look for the dog owner. Schwab notices that there's red spots on the dog, on his paws and on his legs. Okay, so now things are getting kind of suspicious. So at 11:45, OJ gets on his plane and heads for Chicago. At midnight, Vastepi and his wife, they take the dog for a walk. The one that was brought to them, they take it for a walk. They figure they're going to try to find the owner of the dog. And the dog leads them to Nicole's condo. And then once they arrive there, they discover the bodies. This is about 12:10.